All right, let's talk about a classic problem in the world of big data. How do you stop your jobs from slowing to an absolute crawl when you have to connect to an external system or, run a program in a totally different language for every single record? So picture this. You've got this massive data set. We're talking millions of records. And for each one, your code needs to do some kind of slow, expensive setup step. Maybe it's opening a network connection to a database or initializing some big, clunky JSON parser. Doing that setup over and over and over again for every single record is just incredibly wasteful. It can bring your job to its knees. So the big question is, there has to be a smarter way to do this, right? Well, the good news is there absolutely is. Let's dig in.
Okay, so let's first really nail down the problem. We're calling it the one-by-one bottleneck. That little bit of setup work for each record might seem harmless, but when you multiply it by millions, oh boy, it becomes a huge performance killer.
This is something we hear all the time from developers. It's a super common pain point. You write a simple map function to process each record, but hidden inside that little function is this expensive operation, like connecting to a database. You run the job, and it just hangs. So what is really going on under the hood? Well, this is it. This is the inefficient cycle that just destroys performance. For every single record, your app is opening a connection, processing one tiny piece of data, and then closing the connection, just to do the whole thing all over again for the very next record. That overhead, the opening and closing, is often way more expensive than the actual work you're trying to do. So, we've got to break this cycle. How can we do that expensive setup work just once for a whole batch of records, instead of doing it for each and every one individually? The answer, it turns out, is all about changing how we think about the problem. We need to stop focusing on individual records and start thinking about the fundamental unit of parallelism in frameworks like Spark. And that, my friends, is the partition. So what the heck is a partition really? Well, think of your giant data set like a massive book. A partition is like a single chapter. Spark basically rips the book into chapters and hands each chapter to a different person, or in this case, a worker node, to read all at the same time. That's the secret sauce to its speed, that parallel processing.
And here is the aha moment. It's so simple, but so powerful. If you use a standard map function, you pay that setup cost 1,000,000 times for 1,000,000 records. It's brutal. But if you switch to processing per partition, and let's say your data is split into just 100 partitions, well, now you only pay that setup cost 100 times. That is a 10,000-fold reduction in overhead. It is a massive, massive win.
So, the two main tools you're going to use here are mappartitions and foreachpartition. They both give your code access to an entire partition at once, usually as an iterator. This means you can do your expensive setup one time, loop through all the records in that partition, and then do your cleanup at the end. You'd use mappartitions when you need to return a new dataset, and foreachpartition for actions, like writing to a database where you don't return anything. And that's really the core idea, right there. The setup happens just once for the whole partition, not for every single element inside it. By sharing that setup work across all the elements in a partition, you basically spread out the cost. It's a simple shift in thinking, but wow, it can have a huge impact on your job's performance. And the use cases are super practical. Instead of opening 1,000,000 database connections, you open one connection per partition, process thousands of records, and then close it. Same thing for, say, a heavy JSON parsing library. You initialize it once when the partition starts, and you just reuse that same object for every record that comes through. So great, we've tackled the efficiency problem. But what about extensibility? Let's say you're working in Scala or Python, but the absolute best tool for a specific job is a script written in a totally different language. What do you do then? A perfect example of this is in data science. The language R has this incredible ecosystem of super specialized statistical libraries. What if you want to use one of those libraries directly from your Spark job on your distributed data? Are you stuck? Do you have to rewrite the whole thing? No way. You don't have to rewrite a thing. Spark gives us this really powerful and surprisingly simple way to bridge these different worlds, and it's all thanks to a method called pipe. So the pipe method is designed specifically to let you shell out to external programs. It treats your data and the external script just like a classic Unix pipeline, using standard input and standard output to pass data back and forth. This is incredibly flexible because almost any command line tool already works this way. So here's how this magic works. For each partition of your data, Spark fires up your external script.
It then streams the data from that partition, as strings, right into the script's standard input. Your script just reads from standard input, does its work, and then writes its results to standard output. And Spark is listening. It captures that output and seamlessly turns it into a brand new RDD for you. It's a really elegant way to integrate almost any external tool into your big data workflow. Okay, let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture. We've just covered two really powerful techniques that solve two fundamental challenges in data engineering: efficiency and extensibility.
So, what are the key takeaways here? First, to absolutely slash those repetitive setup costs, stop thinking per element and start thinking per partition, using tools like mappartitions. Second, when you need to use a tool from a different language, don't feel locked in. Use pipe to integrate it directly. This unlocks a massive ecosystem of specialized programs for you to use.
And that brings us to a final thought for you to take with you. Now that you know about these patterns, take a fresh look at your own data pipelines. Where else are you repeating work unnecessarily? What other tasks could be optimized just by thinking in terms of partitions instead of single elements? Hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button, share it with your colleagues, and definitely subscribe for more deep dives into key data concepts. Thanks for tuning in.